So, a friend of mine asked that I speak about the Federal Reserve, noting it to be relevant to our current state of conditions. Recently, I've been tending to my ill kitten, so if this sounds a little all over the place or incoherent, I apologize. Um, so, the Federal Reserve is the central banking system of the United States. It was created by the enactment of the Federal Reserve Act, which was in the early 20th century, and is a quasi-public entity. The management is comprised of presidentially appointed Board of Governors, Federal Open Market Committee, 12 regional Federal Reserve banks, each with their own board of directors, numerous private U.S. Member banks, and various advisory councils. Basically, the Fed is big and in many ways resembles a rotten, multi-layered dip. The current chairman is Ben Bernanke, a well-published economist and an Ivy League scholar. He is known for being less ideological than his predecessor, but certainly has been the butt of recent jokes and attacks. The Federal Reserve System is not just about ensuring the stability, though, of the U.S. financial system. It's about addressing the problem of banking panics, supervising, regulating the banking institutions, managing the nation's supply through monetary policies, and strengthening the U.S. standing in the world economy. Now, the actual details are pretty detailed, and I can't recall the majority of them off the top of my head. But I would recommend reading The Federal Reserve System, A History by Donald Wells, as well as The Federal Reserve System, Purposes and Functions, written by the Reserve Board themselves. That will give you I would say, an unbiased and a biased reading. In addition, there's also a host of conspiracy books, which will also give you biased looks. One of the ones I liked was Secrets of the Temple, How the Federal Reserve Runs the Country by William Greider. When people criticize the Federal Reserve, apart from the conspiracy theories, they are generally speaking at the unnecessary and almost counterproductive nature of the system, the system's ability to interfere. Other opponents dispute fiat currency and support a return to the gold standard. Some even argue that the Fed lacks accountability and transparency, and that there's this culture of secrecy within the reserve, or even that there's this unsustainable pyramid scheme going on. I can't really comment on all of the critiques, but what is apparent is that the reserve has had failures. Its handling of the Great Depression, politically motivated expansions or tightening of currency in the 1970s and 1980s, inflation in general, money issuing powers, and even present-day struggles with the global conditions. So, what do I think about the Federal Reserve? Well, what is the difference between an economic boom and an economic depression? One thing only: the amount of money in circulation. Unfortunately, government officials interfere with the money supply, basically acquiring wealth from hapless citizens who might otherwise rebel against open taxation. Government manipulation of the money supply around the world results in inflation and the destruction of wealth. So I think that only a free market in money backed by commodities has historically ensured stability and prosperity. I oppose inflation. I see it as an underhanded form of taxation because it takes away value from money that individuals hold without having to tax them directly. I see the creation of the Federal Reserve and its ability to print money out of thin air without commodity backing as responsible for eroding the value of money. A dollar today I think is worth about 4 cents compared to a dollar in 1913 when the Federal Reserve got in. I would ultimately like to see a return to a commodity-backed currency. A commodity standard binds currency to the value of that commodity rather than fiat, making the value of the currency as stable as the value of the commodity. Overall, I guess I do not like the Federal Reserve. I am very much libertarian in my economic perspectives, but I am open to all thoughts and ideas, like always. This is Caleb Reese. Be good, I'm gonna go play with my kitten.